Hello everyone, this is Professor Chisholm, and this is for assignment 1.5. Okay, so there's a step to web development, and I want to make sure that we're going to do the steps correctly, because if you're actually serious in doing this, you need to know the process. Okay, so this week we're just going to look at Balsamiq, and then next week we're going to actually start coding, and we're going to do all the HTML next week. And then week 3, we'll do the CSS. And week 4, we'll actually have websites. I know you're going to go, really? Yes, really. So Balsamiq is wireframing, and the last assignment asked you to research it a little bit. There are resources out there. Now, I sent you all invites, and I can see who's actually logged in and who hasn't logged in. And it's free. Just sign up, and you can then have access to this CIS307 web page development December 2018 site here. All right, now I want to show you. So let's look at a site. Part of design is also researching and seeing sites out there. I happen to like the WB site, Warner Brothers, right? All right, so the latest trend right now is something called parallax. Okay, so it's very wide. You scroll down to get all of your information. All right, that's one of them. I'm not going to do this right now, but I'm going to go to say, but we're going to cover this, okay? So don't worry about that. But the latest trend is something called parallax. But I will show you parallax. But I want you to just learn a basic site also. So there's Warner Brothers. So let's also look like, this is a basic site right here. And I just brought this up because I wanted you guys to see what components comprise a website. And every website has a header. Well, not necessarily. Every website has more than just this. It's usually header, navigation, and then your body or your content area, and then your footer. Okay, so let's look at Amazon. All right, so Amazon's header right here. It has the navigation built into it. The content is down below it. And notice there's a grid system, okay? Notice that all the images, so all the videos or the games are all the same size, okay? So, but there's a grid. There's always a grid used in this place, okay? Because grids help us organize information. But if you scroll all the way down, you do have this area that's a footer, okay? So those are components on a website. All right, so let's see if I can find another site that maybe isn't the run-of-the-mill website. Let's go to gardening. All right, there's our header that includes the navigation, which seems to be, there's our logo and our navigation. And this looks like a WordPress site based on how it's set up. So let's see if we can find something that's not. Perfect, love it, finally. All right, basic website. Excellent. Now, the other trend on websites is like this, where you have the content is centered into the page, and you have left and right, there's nothing. Okay, so that's essentially what we're going to build for the first one that we do. We're going to build something like this. Again, big, long, scrolling ones seem to be very popular right now. I have no idea. When I started web development, they always told us that people would rather click and go to another page than scroll. So I agree. That's how I dealt it. But I guess now they don't care if they scroll. So if you look at this, notice that this stays, the logo and the header always sort of stay the same. And so does the navigation. So those are elements that never change. And if we scroll down to the bottom, the footer's always there. So there are certain elements that always stay the same. And notice the color scheme stays the same throughout too. But all that really changes is this content area. So that's key. And also notice how, look at how these images are lined up. They're all the same height. Perfect. Love that. Okay. This one may be a little bit wider visually, I think, and this one too, but they're all the same height. That's something that's from a design perspective. Same here. They're all the same height. It looks like they're actually all the same size, which is great visually. Okay, nice clean logos. There's definitely, it looks like there's columns using a grid system being used, columns specifically. So this is what makes up a good website. Now, if we go and see how this picture changes, so this image, which could be a carousel or it could be a scrolling image. They could have made it a scrolling image if they wanted to. Also very popular. Home and kitchen. Very nice site. See how they're all the same width. Same width and same height. That's really important. And it shows you a grid. Definitely shows you good use of grid. What is that going to do for us? A grid system gives us the ability then to make this a mobile, to shrink it down. How come it's not letting me resize this? So if I resize it, that's what it would look like for a cell phone. So they took that into consideration. So they used a grid so that it can be resized. See how look how nice that is, okay? So that means it's called responsive, all right? So I just want to show you that. So then, something to think about. So there's this. Remember footer, header, but I told you navigation is also part of it. Sometimes navigation is inside the header, but it doesn't have to be. So the whole thing is, and notice what they recommend is they recommend that you put I don't know why they do that. Let's go. See how they have they've made some columns so that they can help line everything up. I'm sorry, I can't get that any bigger. Yep, I can't get any bigger. But so the navigation goes all the way across, the footer goes all the way across, and then they have the logo. I wouldn't quite do that. I would have put that all, probably in the header area, because as we get into the HTML stuff, you'll start seeing why I'm going to say that. But this is nice because there's a definite grid system. So this group all line up, and then this comes in but does not, they spaced it so it looks nice. Okay, so these are evenly spaced here. All right, so what we want to do with Balsamiq is we want to be able to draw out, wireframe our sites. So you're going to add a new mockup, and you're going to go in here and you're going to play around with this stuff. Have to allow Flash. Mac users, you can use the cloud version of this, though you don't have to do this. It can be done in, you can draw this in other programs. It's just that Balsamiq gives you already built up icons that you can use. All right, so I had already started this little mock-up. So there's a browser right there. And I used browser window because that's where my website's going to be going into. And what I want to do is then I'm going to control minus so you can see all of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the comment. I think there's a rectangle tool in here somewhere. That's for the image. Okay, so I'm going to denote using this rectangle tool. I'm going to denote my website's going to be right here in the middle, just like this. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool again. I'm going to create an area that's going to be my header. That's going to be my header area. Now, navigation can either go across the top or it can come down over the side. Well, my navigation is going to come across. Headers are usually about an inch big, guys, though I don't know anymore. They changed this. So that's going to denote my navigation. And down here is going to, this is going to denote my footer area. Footer sometimes has also the navigation built into it. And then this is going to be my content area. Now, how I'm going to do this, I'm also going to think about columns also for this. So I am going to have a very large image. And whenever you have something with an X through it, that's usually an image. All right, so I'm going to have an image here. I'm going to do this. Maybe I'll go 1/3 of my page, right? And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to look for a text area. Drag this in here. So this is going to go here. Go away. And I'm going to have text here. And I'm going to have text here. Now notice, I'm going to have it line up with the bottom of the image. All right, perfect. And then maybe I'm going to have a series of, who knows? Well, maybe I'm going to have another little text area all the way around the bottom. But that would not be advisable. Why? Because you don't want wide bodies of text because it's harder for the viewer to read. So you want to think of columns. Always think columns. So maybe I would just maybe bring my image all the way down and bring this box here. Bring this one here. All right. So we could go there, but this would be the header. This would be the navigation. This would be the footer. That's an image. This would be a text area. This would be a text area. Okay. My logo would go up in here. Maybe some other buttons would go up in here, but this would be a basic wireframe right now. Okay, so all I want you to do is I want you to play around with the controls. I want you to at least get to this part, and what you're going to do is you're going to take a screenshot of this. And what I really want you to do is go beyond that. I want you to add buttons. I just want you to play with it and see what you can do for wireframe. Research it, guys. Look at other wireframes. Now, when you save this, it's important. You save it, and you're going to say new mockup, but in place, you're going to go assignment 1.5 underscore first initial, last name, okay? And that way, we're going to save it. But you can take a screenshot and you can save it for me, but then I can also go into Balsamiq and see that you actually did it. If you do not have the saved file up there, that's going to be a problem, okay? All right, guys, so you're going to recreate this. I want you to play. I want you to add additional things to this. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of an overview so that you can get this. And I'll also put some links up there on the thing for you too, okay? All right, let me know if you have any problems. Bye.